So my biggest bugbearer in all of the times that I've done training courses, that I've been a student in myself, is group classes. I think that what happens for students is that people get lost. They pay all this money and they don't get a lot of return. So they take on all this information, but they don't retain it all. So for me, bringing something different, which we don't really see much of in this industry, is one-to-one training.
Hi guys, it's Holly here at Faces. Welcome back to the Face It podcast. Today I am here again with gorgeous Angie with her amazing sparkly background. She's back on the podcast because I decided it was a really good opportunity to actually talk about the training aspect, because as most of you will know, Angie has an amazing clinic, offers lots of treatments and everything as well, but she also runs a training academy, so I thought it just deserved its own spotlight in a new conversation. So Angie, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me back, really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. So we talked about your clinic, how you built your business and everything in the previous podcast. So we will obviously link that below if anyone wants to watch that. But do you want to just talk to us a little bit about where the training side of things came in for you in terms of your career, the reasons why you decided to become an academy, and how you've built it from there, really?
Of course, no problem. So I originally started my academy from a hairdressing perspective. And the reason that I did that was because I saw a little gap within the industry, and that was how people train other people and they don't adapt themselves to the person that's being taught. So me being as random as I am, and I always think outside the box, so I always find a different way that works for that student. So for me, I've been training for at least maybe 13 years now in total. So it was quite kind of like a natural progression. I'm very visual, I'm very hands-on. So starting my academy from that perspective was really important to me. So mainly because I wanted to offer something that wasn't quite out there, and that's kind of the outside of the box training rather than sticking to the structure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So again, lockdown happened, and that pushed me more into online courses, building courses, basically creating lesson plans in effect. And the aesthetics move was kind of the next natural progression for me, and going into a direction where I felt that I could add value. So my academy from the aesthetics perspective has been around since January this year. So fairly new, but I obviously come with other sort of teaching and training experiences.
Amazing. So can you just tell us a bit more about sort of with your experience having been on training courses, sort of how, because you talked about how, you know, it's so important to be adaptable to that specific student. What sort of things do you do to kind of make that happen?
Okay, so my biggest bugbearer in all of the times that I've done training courses, that I've been a student in myself, is group classes. I think that what happens for students is that people get lost. They pay all this money and they don't get a lot of return. So they take on all this information, but they don't retain it all. So for me, bringing something different, which we don't really see much of in this industry, is one-to-one training. So where I differ is I only offer one-to-one training. That allows me to have my full, if you like, my full self to be fully involved with that one student. And let's be honest, we're injecting the arteries. So it is important to be a sole focus for one person. So for me, that is super important. I mean, I've had today a student that trained with me on Monday. She was doing her first Botox injecting today. And for me, where I differ is I'm on tap. I'm here. You need me, I stop what I'm doing, and I am with you. If it's not me, it's my colleague Els. So, you know, the difference is the support, having a structure in place, and backing up what it is that I tell the student when we're talking about courses before they've even booked. So it's following through with everything that I have said at the beginning and coming through for them at the end, because I know what it's like to be on your own in this whole world of injectables and thinking, oh my God, I've got my first client. What am I going to do? How am I going to like tackle this? And just having your trainer there, be it if it's just on the phone, text, FaceTime, it makes such a massive difference. And I know that if I had those various supports, it would have made such a massive difference to my early part of my career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's people like yourself who tell me these things where I think, do you know what, like obviously the training aspect in terms of your career and becoming an academy is great, because you've got those not only positive experiences but negative experiences from training courses that you've done, so you know exactly what you do and don't want to give to your students. What I would say as well is, I think when it comes to the support aspect, the main thing that I hear new practitioners talking about with myself is my training academy promised they would give me like support whenever I needed it. They'd be on the other end of the phone, they'd be able to WhatsApp with any questions, and I've tried to ring them 5 times since I've qualified and they are literally ghosting me.
I've had exactly that with this particular student on Monday. She'd trained in dermal filler with another well-known academy, and they don't respond to texts, calls, emails. They're just left in the dark. And for me, I can't fathom that. And I hear that so many times. It's like over-promising but under-delivering.
Yeah. And how can you expect as an academy someone who's done maybe a 1, 2, 3 day course in injecting to know what they're doing? Of course they're going to have questions, of course they're going to need that support with anything, but this is like injecting people's faces.
Exactly. The problem is though, Holly, they're overloading them with too many courses. I mean, I see things where they're like, learn 21 courses in 5 days. It's madness. Like
how is that even possible?
No, it's not. It's very much money led, not student led, and that's what the problem is in this industry. It's having to be the teacher, not the profit. You have to separate.
Yeah, that's it. And I see it on Instagram all the time. Within your first 3 months, you'll be earning 20 grand, like all this. And I think as a potential student, someone who's looking to come into the industry, of course, I strongly believe that you should only do this if you have a true passion for it and a care for your clients. But when there's stuff like this around saying, earn this amount of money, we're in a cost of living crisis. Of course, people are going to be sucked into that.
Of course.
It's really disappointing.
It's about being realistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's being realistic and being honest. I mean, when I have my students in, I tell them, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to work from ground zero to get to the top of that mountain. Is going to take some time. It isn't going to go and happen overnight. I guess as well, it's depending on who we're dealing with as well, because you've got various different students. Like I know if I said to my girl Els, this is your target, you've just qualified, she's driven in a certain way. So people are so driven in different ways. So it's about like narrowing down that information and not over kind of trying to sell a course and over promising again, because it comes back down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think what you pointed out in terms of, one of the reasons why you do the one-to-one coaching and training is because every single person is different. And it's so true. Some people are visual learners, some people like to listen. There's so many different ways that people take in information.
What I found in my sort of teaching career so far, what's been really important is the question that I asked them at the beginning, and it's, how do you like to learn? So I get an understanding about their background, how it is they like to take information in. But not only that, I have an online portal where they have access to everything that I teach them, so they can go back on reference. So it's not a case of, right, this is how you do it, off you go. They've got access to all of the written content, all of the videos, step by step on how to inject, so they can refer back to it, so that they feel like they haven't lost all that knowledge. They can go back on it.
And the money as well. I know I don't really like to mention the money side of things, but you're paying a lot of money for these courses.
Yeah.
You should be given things like that. You should be given the support. You should be given the online manuals and things afterwards. That should be a given if you're paying thousands of pounds for a training.
It's adding the value, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in the value. And I think a lot of training academies out there, they're not adding value. They're not interested in the support and the help afterwards.
Yeah.
They're there purely for money. I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously none of us would be doing what we do if it wasn't for obviously some sort of financial gains, but it's the same principle in injecting should be taken in teaching, and that is care and attention and having best interest at heart.
100%. I completely agree with that. So with regards to students that you train or who are looking to train, what do you find on a whole are sort of the main concerns that those people have? So, if they've just qualified, whether it be concerns around building their business or the industry in general, or even just like when they're inquiring about coming on one of your courses, are there sort of specific things you find that
it's they don't know the structure of what they need to do, so because it's so unregulated, there's people that think that they can just get into aesthetics, which technically in the roundabout way they can, but insurance limits us. There needs to be your level 3 beauty therapy or some sort of needling work. So their concerns are, how can I get into that? What do I do to get into that? Sometimes I get people who come in that have been trained already, but have been trained really badly. So, and they've been given no support. So it's been like, how can, I need help. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. How do I set this up? How do I do this? And even down to like Monday, prime example again. I went through the whole process of faces in my training, but they don't do that. Yeah. Other people don't do that. They don't sit them down and show them the business side of things. Yeah. This is what you need to do with social media. This is your consent form. Use faces, consent, because you can connect with your prescribers. You've got your products on there. Yeah. You can manage your diary, everything. So I go through that with them. And because I do all these little things that are no trouble, yeah, that student then has that better experience. So it's having to try to turn around everything that they've had that's been a bad experience, or where they're confused and unsure, and show them a path.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? It's the business side that doesn't get enough focus.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
People who are training from different backgrounds or, just coming into aesthetics, I think a lot of the time, it's like they're so focused on actually doing the training course, injecting the models, learning on the day. And then it's like they qualify and finish the training. And it's like, okay, I need to now open a business bank account. I need to know where to buy my products from. Where am I going to get a prescriber? All of these things. And like you say, there are so many academies who they don't go through those things. But this is a business you're going to be running. Like, it's not just as simple as learning how to inject somebody,
Exactly, because you've got to implement all of these other things. It's like some people think that they can train and then just target their few followers that they have on Instagram, but that's not just how it works. You have to teach them to broaden their horizons. You have to tell them to think outside the box, and attracting clients in such a saturated industry. And for me, it's always about being different. You need to stand out from the rest, because people buy. You got to be good at what you do, but people do buy people. They come back for an experience. So for me, the other side of my teaching is teaching them to bring out their quirky sides, the you know, their personalities, because that's what helps retain. It's all good and well getting the client, you need to retain, they need to stay.
100%. And you know what, you know, I'm not meaning to slander anyone or, you know, come across as negative, but I have spoken to a lot of newly qualified practitioners in my time in the industry.
Imagine.
And the people skills are often really limited. And I just think, gosh, you know, you have
It's
to be a people
things
person.
it's real basic skills that are not taught.
Yeah.
You have to have a level of like customer services.
Yeah.
You need to know how to handle yourself in a consultation,
Yeah.
to get the right answers that you need from that client. You know, if someone's really kind of quiet and, you know, docile and like, it's not going to work. They have to be taught that, and it's basic.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's, you know, there's not really anything out there to say, you know, before considering training into this industry, is this for you? You know, if you've got a background in, I don't know, something totally different, are you sure this is, you know, going to be the right thing for you in your career? You know, there's so many different aspects of it that you need to learn. You know, you have to become a therapist as well. You know, you'll have your clients come in and offload everything to you. You know,
That's a valid point you make, though. The problem with training academies is they don't know when to say no.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to turn away people because it's not going to work.
Yeah,
you have
just like you should a client if they shouldn't be having that treatment.
And I have that. You know, I had a client in the once that wanted microblading done, but after digging into the consultation, I figured out she doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't want it done. So I pulled the whole appointment and said, I feel that it's best we don't go ahead because I don't think you really want it. And she went, I think you're right. So it just shows, doesn't it? You just got to keep.
Yeah, and that takes skill to actually be able to notice that, and you know, confidence to say no to a client as well as a student. You know, I think it must be really difficult because, you know, that's, you know, a client that, you know, you're potentially losing money, but you have a duty of care, whether it be your client or your student, to go, this isn't the right thing.
Exactly. And I find that they respect you more for being honest and saying, actually, you don't really need, or, you know, you don't really want to do this, you know, think about it. And it's the same with training, isn't it? It's kind of planting a seed, because ultimately for me as an academy, my reputation sits on the line here, and I want to do things that I'm 100% confident in, and that student 100% wants this. If they don't want it, it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to, obviously, you know, you can train someone and give them all the support, all the tools. Doesn't mean they're going to be the best practitioner. However, you don't want them to do a completely crap job.
Absolutely.
And then it falls back on you. It's like, oh God, who did this person train with?
Well, do you know the amount of times over the last sort of 3 years I've heard, oh, who did you train with, or who did you train with? And like, I hear various different academies' names popping up quite regularly. And this is just through generally being in aesthetics and speaking to other practitioners.
Yeah.
So these people that train with you, they do talk. So you have to add value. You have to have their best interest at heart, and you have to take responsibility.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what really annoys me, just going on to something a little bit different, is people, I see it all the time, you know, people qualifying in aesthetics, 6 months later they're a training academy.
Oh yeah.
Like that's, I'm like, wow, like how is that even possible?
It's blatantly happened because they've bought all their Instagram followers but no engagement, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Stop
and the
it.
thing is, I say this in regards to clients, you know, if let's say now I'd never had an aesthetics treatment and I didn't know about the industry, if I wanted to go get a treatment, I'd be like, where the hell do I go? There's so many places. It's the same with students, you know. If I was thinking, okay, I'm, you know, really interested in aesthetics, thinking of training, Like, it's just an absolute minefield. So what advice would you give to somebody who is sort of really looking into the industry, really considering, getting in, doing some training? What advice would you give to someone who just doesn't really know where to start and, who to train with?
I'm a big believer in picking up the phone and speaking to people. So rather than going by email or by text, pick up the phone and speak to the academy. Find out what their values are, what they're all about, what support you're going to get. Get that in writing. Get them to follow everything up that you discussed in email, because that would hold them accountable. And it's about looking at how someone trains. What is their style of training? How is this student going to benefit from this academy by them teaching them? It's understanding their aftercare process, what process is implemented, what's in place, and really just making sure that they're qualified. Like, a lot of people don't have any sort of teaching qualification, so really they're not trainers.
Yeah. And you know what, I used to work for our sister company, Canvas, so they have a training academy as well, and I used to be the person who would ring up the inquiries for training, always have a really good chat with them. And do you know what, the amount of people who would say to me, oh, like, I'm speaking to a couple of other academies, but you've called me, so I want to go ahead. We've had a nice chat. It's all just been on Instagram message with the other ones. And so the same goes for any training academies out there listening. Pick the phone up, speak to these people. They're spending a lot of money with you, and this is for you to not necessarily be like a crazy salesperson, but really showcase why your academy is different, why they should train with you.
Yeah, you got it completely, 100%, because, again, people buy people. So, I know personally, for me, when I go and choose to do my training with various different people, I am that person that picks up the phone. I want to speak to them. I want to know what they're about. How are they going to teach me? How am I going to take this information in? How is the support? So it's really important to really research the people that you're speaking to, because you want to look at reviews. You want, I would go as far as offering anyone that wanted to do training with me to speak to my previous students who would be happy to speak to these people. Let the people who have done the training speak, and they will tell you their experience, and that then sets people aside.
100%. Yeah, because they've done the training, they've been at the academy. And if they've not had a good experience, they're not going to lie and say they have,
Exactly.
And if you're that confident that, you could hand over any of your students' details to this person, and that every single one of them would have a positive experience, that just says it all, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, the one other thing that I do say to all of my students in terms of adding value is, if you're ever unsure, I am more than happy, and I know that my students will back me up on this one, is if you need to shadow me, if you're unsure, I'm more than happy for you to come in free of charge and shadow me, watch me do certain things if it helps you. And I've had that happen, so
I want to do that. I'd be like, I want to see you do the treatment. Or do you know what I think? I think what a lot of people do, which I think is a really good idea, is if you're potentially going to book in with an academy, be a model for one of their students before you book in, because then you're actually seeing how that training academy are teaching, and how they are watching, and just everything, that the experience.
Exactly. I think as well, it allows them to see how many people are in the training, how many models they have. Some academies, you only have 1 or 2 models, and there's 5 people working on one person.
Oh my God,
it blows my mind.
I'll never forget this. I spoke to this one person, it was ages ago now. She had done her initial dermal filler training. She said there were 11 people on the course.
Wow, to one trainer?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she
That's
said, I think she said she like injected like half a lip and was then given a certificate.
That's terrible.
But this is why you should do your research. How many other students are going to be on the training if there are more students?
Exactly.
Because do you know what? I think I completely agree. One-to-one training. That's how I would want to learn. But I think in small groups it can also be really valuable because it's nice to meet other students, in the same situation. They might ask a question which you don't think of. I think small groups are really valuable. But
I was actually speaking about this the other day, funny enough, and I said if I was ever going to consider more than one, then two at the very most, but I would want to kind of make it where they did treatments on each other.
Yes, definitely.
Well, which I think can be quite good because they can. It's a bit different than it being a complete model.
Yeah, because it's more relaxed, isn't it? You both know what's happening. You're not necessarily having to...
so you know what's happening. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. With regards to the regulation then, so I know we touched on regulation previously, but from a training point of view, how do you feel? I mean, we don't obviously know what's going to happen, but there's a talk of, the level 7 is probably going to get checked and potentially changed anyway. What are your kind of thoughts when it comes to the training side of things on regulation?
I think where the whole problem started and starts is with training. It always starts at the top. And I think that there's been a lot of people out there that have been trained very badly. And therefore, we are in the situation that we're in. So if anything needs to be regulated first, is the training academies. Regulate that, put something in place so there is a structure that is the same for everyone. So everyone has a set of rules and training manuals to work to. Make it be completely the same. I'm 100% for it because I think the industry really needs it. It needs to be shaken up like that because a standard needs to be put in place because currently there is no standard. Anyone can do anything they want to do. And there's no guidelines. And I think if there were guidelines in place to a structure, the result would be better trained practitioners.
100%. And it's what you're promoting now. I spend all this time with my students. I give them all the support. I give them the shadowing days. They can call me, text me. I'll drop everything, whatever they need. And you can guarantee that the people that you train are going to come out feeling so much more confident, probably going to be better injectors. They're going to be, and I think the fact that you said you can speak to any of my students and they'll tell you is just, that's a sign in itself.
Know that I can go to bed and sleep at night because honestly, when I train my students, I am exhausted by the end because my mind and my whole body is physically involved in this because I need to make sure that they're going to be good at what they're going to be doing when they leave me. And it's putting that standard in place. I think everybody should adhere to that and be kept accountable and care.
Yeah, absolutely. With regards to sort of training that you've done more recently then, because obviously you as a practitioner, you still want to upskill, you still want to, learn more. Have you had any like really, really bad experiences with training courses?
Yeah, in terms of me being on training courses, yes. I think again, it just sometimes I've gone into a training course and I'm thinking, I have no idea. I have no idea what that was about or what it is that I'm doing. And what's resulted in that is because there's been too many people being taught. I've not retained the information. I've not understood fully. So therefore, I've wasted my money on this course because I'm not actively offering it because I felt like I needed more. But, again, as a student's point of view, there's no like accountability or aftercare. So I'm asking the questions, but I'm not getting anything from them. So I then get frustrated. So now for me, I'm really, really picky. I sit back, I watch how people move in terms of training, and then I make a decision on whether I'm going to train with them. Like, I'm currently putting myself through my level 5, and I'm going all the way to Kent, and that's 3.5 hours away from me, because I value the academy that I've chosen, because I know they're giving me what it is that I need, which is the blended learning of videos for the written side. I've got a short attention span, so I know I need to be kept reeled in and stimulated, and certain things need to be explained to me, you know. So like, you know, I've had a lot of bad experiences with training, and I've learned from their mistakes to implement it in my business. So
it's bittersweet, isn't it? It's, you know, you can make your business better by ensuring you're not doing those things, or, you know, offering those things to your students. But obviously that's the thing, it's just you never know until you get on that course, do you? Because you can talk to someone on the phone,
I find that going via recommendation helps. So I will speak to other practitioners, and you can have a frank conversation with them, can't you? You can be literally like, look, be real with me. Was it any good? And within industry, we'll always be very honest with one another. Practitioners tend to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone watching is looking to do some further training, or looking to get into the industry, you're not sure where to start, so you're doing a bit of research, Angie Monroe Training Academy is the place you need to go. And it makes me want to train. It makes me want to come and do training. Because I do you know what? I think I can imagine you, because I mean, I like you anyway, but I can just imagine you being a fantastic trainer, like a really good person to train with.
I love it. I mean, I get like a buzz out of it. It's the same feeling I get from injecting people or doing some sort of service or treatment that makes someone feel good about themselves. And when I watch them train from the very first injection to like further down the course, and just how much they've changed and how confident they've been, honestly, it's very rewarding for me, because I love seeing other women, men, whatever. I love seeing people win, and that's a buzz for me.
Oh, I love that, Angie. Do you know what? There's a lot of people in this industry who don't like seeing that. So it's a breath of fresh air, and I think spread some positivity.
That's very frustrating for me, because I think, like, imagine if people realized how powerful they could be if they stuck together. It is that simple. That is the crack. Take the ego out, blend everybody together, and an amazing thing can happen.
Oh, Angie, I feel all like I feel all positive now. Do you know what? I've had quite a bad day as well, so that's like that's really like uplifted me. Absolutely agree.
Every minute is a new start. So after the next minute, your day starts again.
Oh my God. Quick, guys. But anyway, Angie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again. I literally just love. I want to do a weekly podcast with you, to be honest.
Yeah.
So up for that. I need sparkly blue background for faces.
Absolutely. We would reflect very well. It'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, if anyone is looking to do some training, whether it be further training or, you know, new to the industry, I'll put all of Angie's information in the description so you can contact her. Even if you just want to have a chat, just want to find out a bit more, you know, she's so approachable. Like, absolutely love speaking with you, Angie. Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
No worries, lovely. All right, have a great evening. I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.